The UFC uses the top 15 ranking system for their fighters, meaning if you're in the top 15, you're technically ranked. 15 is a lot of people. So today, I'm going to be going over the worst ranked fighter in every division, excluding the women's divisions just because I can't make heads or tails of anything that's going on over there. There's a lot of overlap with wins and losses. It doesn't make a lot of sense. But we're going over all the men's divisions, choosing the fighters that are hanging on by a thread to their ranking, in my opinion, and just the worst fighters of the top 15. So kicking it off, we're going to start with Flyweight, and we have Matt Schnell. Matt Schnell is currently number 11, and he is the definition of holding on by a thread. Matt Schnell wouldn't be any of these people, in my opinion, today. Anyone else that's ranked top 15, I don't think he would be. Matt Schnell just has a dynamite chin. He has a chin that will explode, and he's also super scrappy, and that's just a horrible recipe. Horrible recipe, especially at flyweight. You get hit a lot. There's a lot of punches coming at you. He's not particularly good at anything either. But yeah, he's number 11 in a crapshoot division. I think a close fight would be Matt Schnell versus Cody Durden. I think that'd be fun, but I think Cody Durden would just outgrind him. And yeah, Matt Schnell for flyweight. And apparently he loves how much he's being paid, so good for him. Then we go to Bantamweight, where Sean O'Malley has the crown. In my opinion, the worst ranked fighter at Bantamweight is Pedro Munoz. Pedro Munoz currently ranked number 15, hanging on by a thread. And the thing about Pedro, man, is the game just passes you by. Sometimes the game just passes you by. He's been around. He was around when it was okay to be a 5'4" bantamweight. You know, remember the good old days? Everybody had T-Rex arms. And then next thing you know, hey Pedro, sorry to break it to you, we're all 5'8" now. So it's kind of like the game, the fight. MMA is literally saying, hey, this isn't for you, bro. You know, to be really competitive, he would have to maybe drop the flyweight. But I think a good match, a good fight, maybe Rob Font, who's number 9, just because of how chinny Rob Font is. Another close one, maybe Dominic Cruz. We've seen that one. It was pretty close, but Cruz won comfortably. I think the same thing will happen if any of these dudes fought Pedro. So in bantamweight, it's going to be Pedro Munoz. Going on to featherweight, we have Edson Barbosa, a legend in the game, truly. Edson Barbosa is, again, number 15, and he is the worst fighter in this division. He has losses to Ige, Giga, Bryce Mitchell. All these guys above him have beaten him handily, really. The Ige one maybe a little bit close, but Edson's it just seems like, I just feel like everybody else beats him. That's all I can really say. He's competitive in every fight. That's who Edson is. He's gonna be competitive in every fight, but I think he loses to Arnold Allen. I think he loses to Josh Emmett, Aljo. You know, maybe a close fight. Calvin Kattar, who's number 9. That'd be a good fight with Edson. Maybe a Giga rematch, but I don't see it. Edson's a little bit older, on his way out. And in my opinion, he's the worst ranked featherweight fighter. Now we got to go to lightweight. I think the worst ranked fighter has to be number 7, Beneil Dariush. I just think Beneil is holding on to something that just ain't there. It just isn't. It doesn't seem like he has the fire anymore. You know, he's number 7. Look who's under him. Fiziev, Holloway, Moicano. I think they take him out. Then you got Benoit Saint-Denis coming up with Jalen Turner. Bobby Green's still number 15, and he definitely isn't beating anyone above him. I know he beat Gamrot. I think if they do that Gamrot rematch today, Gamrot cleans him up, and that's probably just because of where they are in their careers, man. Beneil, again, it doesn't seem like I don't believe Beneil is training. Like, if you told me Beneil's in there every day, I'd be like, no, he isn't. Why you lying? Don't lie to me. I don't think he has that fire. His chin is completely gone. That punch from Arman should not have been enough to flatline you. That just wasn't that type of punch. He's also very slow, and I think he's a sloppy striker. There, I said it. Even when he was getting all those knockouts, he was sloppy, but now he's just a little bit older. Doesn't want it as much. Lost his chance for the title when he fought Charles Oliveira. I think it's probably a wrap for Beneil, and he definitely shouldn't be ranked number 7. I think everybody cleans him. A close fight, probably RDA. Maybe the Gamrot one is close if Gamrot gasses, and that's just because they both can't strike. But Beneil Dariush, my opinion, the worst ranked lightweight fighter. Got to go to welterweight. Welterweight, probably a no-brainer for a lot of people, but it's going to be Neil Magny. Number 12, Neil Magny. Just a hard hat, lunch pail type of guy. Meat and potatoes, peanut butter and jelly. I don't know what I could say. What else can I say about Neil Magny? He's a fighter that's going to go in the cage and he's going to fight. Probably smart. He's going to do everything he can to win, which really ain't that much, but it can take some people out. I don't think it's taking out anybody in this division today. The Jeff Neal fight, Jeff Neal is just an absolutely stupid fighter. Dumb out of his mind. All he does is punch himself into the clinch, which is exactly what Neil Magny needs to win. But in my opinion, I think Jeff Neal, when he doesn't have sepsis or doesn't have shit going on at home, whatever the hell he was dealing with, I think he takes out Neil Magny. There's a clear guideline, a formula to beat Neil Magny, and I think all these guys have it. You give Jeff Neal another chance, Jeff Neal does it too. It's not rocket science. It's just fighting. It's just going out there, knowing this guy's gonna jab you and try to grab you. That's really it. It's Neil Magny at the end of the day, and to me, he's the worst welterweight ranked fighter. Going on to middleweight, the worst ranked fighter at middleweight. They keep going up. Just went up a ranking. Roman Dolidze, the boogeyman himself. He moves at the pace of a snail in there. He's like a rock when you look at him, but then his movement is just, it's not sharp at all. He moves so sluggish. He fights like you would expect a bodybuilder to fight. You know, like, all right, I'm not gonna let this guy get on top of me. Because if he gets on top of me, maybe he can win. But if we're standing, he's slow as dirt. His technique isn't even very good. Even in the first round, he holds his hands up to his face like someone who took 3 boxing classes. That's how his stance is. You know, I'm prepared. He's doing everything he thinks he should do, but it just doesn't look right. It doesn't feel right. And the guy's ranked number 10 at middleweight. Middleweight is a shit division. There, I said it. Sorry, Drickus. Middleweight is shit. The fact that Roman can be number 10, it doesn't matter. I honestly believe everybody beats him. Everybody beats him. The people under him, to name a few, Khamzat Chimaev, Caio Barajo, Michel Pereira, Anthony Hernandez, they all clean him up. Everyone above him cleans him up. I think he might have a close fight with Marvin Vettori, but he's not beating Cannonier. He's not beating Imavov, which you recently saw. And these other guys are just too fast for him. So a guy like Izzy or Whitaker, even Strickland, like everybody beats Dolidze. He needs to be fighting somebody outside the rankings and earn his spot. I don't care if you fluked wind over Jack Hermanson, bro. I really don't. You need to earn your keep here. Worst ranked middleweight fighter is Roman Dolidze. At light heavyweight, I got the guy, Bogdan Duskov. He's a little bit newer, but the fact that I think Anthony Smith would beat him is why he got chosen. It was between him and Anthony Smith, and I just feel like Anthony Smith does have a ground game. I would have loved to put Anthony Smith in the thumbnail, but I couldn't lie to y'all. I couldn't lie to myself. I think Anthony Smith beats Bogdan. The Bogdan Duskov guy doesn't really have that many tools, in my opinion. He doesn't even necessarily have cardio either, if we're being real. I think everybody else beats him. A close fight gonna be with Alonzo Menifield, and if Anthony Smith ever fought him, I think it would be close too. Yeah, but at the end of the day, I went with Bogdan Duskov. Maybe he can prove himself and not be considered the worst ranked fighter, but as of right now, he's the worst in the top 15 in my opinion. Going on to heavyweight, arguably the worst division that John Jones rules, but number 14, Marcos Rogerio de Lima. He's 39 years old, one of those guys that fought Ben Rothwell, so he's a little past his prime. Yeah, he can still strike, but you get him down, you make him work a little bit, it's not hard to beat this dude. Alexander Romanov was able to do it. I think if you strike with a guy like Rosinho or Rosenstruck, Jersey Rosenstruck, who's number 12. I think he takes him out. You know what I'm saying? I think everybody else hits a little too hard and wants it a little more, has a little bit more cardio than Marcos Rogerio de Lima to really take him seriously. I think people look at number 14. Oh, it's Marcos? Oh, yeah, sign the dotted line. Shit, yeah, I'll do it for half the purse. I just want to get back in there and work on myself. You know, that I think that's what happens when you see Marcos Rogerio de Lima come across the page on the contract. So there you have it, man. Those are the worst ranked fighters in every division. Like and subscribe. Another one coming soon. We out.